Tyler, a lot of things that were going so well for you guys the first couple of games weren't necessarily there, and yet obviously you guys win. You personally don't make any turnovers. Whether it's pass pro, difficulty in the run game, third down when it's mostly third and long all night, and that's tough sledding for you. I think there's only one called run on third down. Yet again, no turnovers by you. You make that critical mistake. How do you feel in takeaway where you're able to win a game when a lot of things didn't go your way the way they had the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's obviously tough. Going into it, we just got to be better in execution. We can't get in third and long, like you said. Got to be better on first and second down to put us in those advantageous situations to where we're not throwing the ball a lot. I think that just goes on decisions by me. I think the O-line, they played well, and they faced a really good D-line. They had a lot of good players. Credit to their defense. So I just know we got to be better in this short week coming up.
Ryan Thorburn, register guard.
Tyler, how much did you get to work with Devon Williams last year, and did you kind of sense he was due for a monster game like this?
Me and Devon got to work quite a bit. I think he's just been such an electric player in practice, and then obviously that's showing in the game. So him and I, whether it's doing one-on-one routes after practice, just getting reps in with Johnny and Red and Micah, and then he's just kind of taking to the game and learning from those guys because we're still a young team and we have a lot to grow. So I was really proud of his work and how he showed up and all of our wide receivers tonight, just making explosive plays.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Tyler, you just mentioned this is a young team. Is there any positive lining out of this in which so much inexperience on the field and yet you found a way to grind out a win and when you didn't play at your best?
Yeah, it shows a lot about our culture and character as a team. We have a lot of great leaders on this team, and we all just got together and just told each other we're going to fight and stick this thing out. We were super resilient. Obviously the win's a win, so we're not happy with how everything turned out. And but I think there's just a lot that we can grow from, a lot that we can get better on. So I'm really proud of how our guys fought for sure.
Tyson Alger, The Athletic.
What did it mean to have Camp Moyer back out there, and especially being able to have meaningful connections between him late in the game, when things were needed?
Can you repeat that?
Tyson, unmute yourself.
Just mute. What did it mean to have Hunter back out there, and just the fact that you guys were able to have productive connections in the second half for a guy who hasn't played yet?
Yeah, sorry, that's a good question. You cut out at first. But yeah, it was obviously great to have all of our tight ends back. Hunter stepped up in a huge way on a couple of those flat routes and things like that. So I was really proud of our tight ends' work tonight. It's obviously great to have a lot of flexibility when it comes to that. And Hunter and I have got a lot of chemistry going back to last year. So it's good to have a veteran in our lineup.
Ashley Conklin, register guard.
Tyler, in the first couple of games, the defense wasn't able to get any turnovers, but today they obviously came through in waves. How key was that for you, and what kind of a spark does that give you guys going out in the field, on a short field after getting the turnovers and stuff?
Oh, it's huge. That's what we talked about this whole week, that they're due for a turnover and some big plays, and they really went out there and made that happen. It's a big momentum changer for sure, and they played their butts off. So hats off to them for fighting through it against a good team. So I'm really proud of the way they fought and the offensive fought as well. So I think if we can limit turnovers and create some on defense, we should be good to go for the rest of the way out, just because that's such a momentum change in the game, whether you're on offense or defense.
James Crepia, Oregonian.
Coach was talking about how much pressure they brought on first down, in particular, a lot on second down as well. 3 of the 4 sacks came there. Again, tough sledding for you in those spots. How much of that was unusual or different than what you'd seen on tape from them, or how much of that? Why is it that it was just that presented such problems? I mean, I realize it's pressure; it's supposed to present problems, but why was it that it was so effective?
I think it just goes to execution. We were prepared for all the pressures they brought. They obviously did a great job of it and played hard because you can dial out the perfect protection. But they can also beat one guy one-on-one, and I can also make a perfect throw. So there's a lot of nuances that come with it. And we did our best preparing for it. And I felt overall we had a good scheme going into it. We just got to execute better on my part, and that just got to be better going into this next week on making some decision-making and eye discipline and things like that.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Tyler, you targeted Devon on over a third of your pass attempts today. What was it you saw from him that I guess that allowed you to do that, and what does he provide maybe that's different from some of the other receivers you have on this team?
I don't think it's me trying to target one wide receiver per se. It's just really going off what the defense is giving me in the play within the confines of the offense. So obviously Devon had his name called quite a bit this week, and he definitely stepped up big time. So I think that's the beauty of our wide receiver room, is that no one guy is just gonna take control, but they will if they have to. So it's just great to have a lot of those weapons out there, and obviously having connections with Johnny and Jay Red and plenty of those other guys like Chris Hudson. So it's just definitely big to have that trust in them and know that no matter how much practice they've got with me throughout the week, that they're going to step up.
Tyson Alger.
What's the first thing that you want to dissect on film from this game? Like when you go home and turn it on?
I think some of the decision making, as far as in the run game on some of the read option stuff, and then obviously in the pass game, as far as just getting it out earlier out of my hands and taking what the defense gives me. I think we did a better job of that in the second half, but realized when they're bringing pressure, just to maybe get it out quicker and let our guys run, because I think that was the key, and then we focused on that for sure. And then mainly just finishing those drives. We drove down the field quite a bit, and we just got to put it in the end zone.
We have time for two more. James Krupia, the Oregonian.
There was kind of a feast or famine aspect of it on those early downs, Tyler, in that when you had the big completions, they came mainly on first and second down, and they were huge. I think like probably over 85% of your yards came on passes of 20-plus yards. I mean, you really did when you did capitalize, you capitalized in a big way against their pressure. So evaluate your first thoughts and decision making in terms of passing against that pressure, because you were clearly very effective.
Yeah, I think as far as it goes in just in the short game and stuff like that, making some of those quicker decisions and just taking what they give me, I think we did well in creating explosive plays. But I think just taking what they give me and moving on to the next read and just being decisive in my decisions. I think some of those decisions are sacks. That's on me, as far as I could just throw it away earlier or get to the second read on a couple of those screens. So I'll take full responsibility for that, and I think we're just going to work on it going into the next week.
Last question goes to Ryan Thorburn, register guard.
Tyler, it kind of sounds funny to say, but the regular season is half over. Do you feel like you guys are in good position, obviously being 3-0 and just being able to play 3 games where, so many teams have not been able to do that?
Yeah, obviously we're very fortunate to have a season this year, but we know we're never satisfied. It doesn't matter how many games we're going to play this season. We know we got to be better. Whether we had spring ball or summer practice or a shortened fall camp, we faced a lot of adversity this year, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going through it. So I think just how our guys have handled that pressure, and just knowing that pressure is a privilege on us, and just taking it each week and just rolling with it. So I think we're not really satisfied where we're at. We know we can be a whole lot better, and we have to be a lot better. So I'm excited to go back to practice and to work tomorrow and this week.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate your time. Nice job tonight.
Thank you, guys.